But thank you guys for joining us. How many of you are here for the first time at CONNECTpreneur? Oh my gosh, it's a lot of you guys. Well, this is our 15th year, so we're going into year 15, and I want to thank you for all your support, all of our loyal attendees and community members. Yeah, so I wanted to thank our partners first, because without them, this event doesn't happen. And they're listed in the program book here next to the very handsome picture of our awesome host committee. But I want to shout them out by name. So first and foremost, our host today, BW Tech at UMBC. We'll be hearing from Aaron, who's the executive director, momentarily. I want to thank TEDCO. We'll be hearing from Jean-Luc Park, the deputy chief investment officer. Thank you so much, Jean-Luc and team. Next, powered by Shulman Rogers, we'll be hearing from Anthony Millen shortly. Fuzzy Rocket, the Maryland Tech Council, NFP, Blue Venture Investors, the Cybersecurity Association, SIM Securities, BioBuzz, the Maryland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We'll be hearing from their CEO, Marco Avila, in a bit. Startup Grind, Keiretsu Forum, the University of Maryland Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship, the Citrine Angels. I think we have a couple Citrine Angels in the house. MIT Alumni Angels, the Georgetown Entrepreneurship, Ryan and Wetmore, Kobe and USIDC, the Center for Advancing Innovation, the Chicago Archangels, and Enterprise Transformation Solutions. Let's give it up for this awesome group of sponsors and partners. Thank you, guys. Couple of upcoming program notes. Our next CONNECTpreneur will be in DC at George Washington University on April 16th in the morning, so hope you guys can join us. We have a table in the back with a QR code, so you can scan that, and we also have an investor-only event. We have a QR code for that in the back as well. That's going to be virtual, and that will be in May. Does anyone in the room like space or interested in space at all? A few? Okay, well, Space Next. Have you guys heard of Space Next? It's a big conference that they're doing in Connected DMVs is one of our partner organizations. They're doing an event at Capital One Center in Tyson's Corner, February 18th through 20th. So for more information, you can, I don't think we have anyone from Connected DMV here, do we? Okay, well, it's Space Next, Tyson's Corner, February 18th. It's coming up, so if you're interested, please sign up. Okay, I'd like to introduce our first speaker today. Aaron Massage is the executive director of this awesome facility here at BW Tech at UMBC. Aaron, thank you so much for all of your support. Let's give it up for Aaron.
Thanks, Tien. I don't know, I guess we saw, about half the people are here for the first time. You're in for quite a treat. This is an amazing event, and I think it's safe to say that you're going to get a lot out of this. When I was thinking about what they had put together, pardon me, I kept thinking about my first days at BW Tech. I started with the pandemic, and I met so many people online. We'd have meetings with 10, 20, 30 people, and at one point they were just bragging. Pardon me, this is what a room full of people does to you. Bragging about how easy it was and how effective it was to get together remotely like that. But then you see a thing like this. I mean, come on, this is amazing. You can't duplicate this kind of thing anywhere. And I really enjoy getting together, engaging with one another, sharing with one another. It's so important. Now, how many of you are here at BW Tech for the first time? All right, more than half. BW Tech is the oldest research park in Maryland. We have about 500,000 square feet of lab and office spaces, well over 100 companies on site, everything from biotech, govtech, all the way now, of course. We're 10 minutes into it, I can say AI is now one of the emerging technologies here. You can't get through a meeting without saying AI. I think I ordered a coffee the other day and mentioned AI. But the park has a lot of great advantages. Again, we have about 1,000 employees on site. One of the biggest advantages, though, is our relationship with the university. We have over 150 interns on site across the board, again, studying all sorts of different things, but they're passionate about wanting to work with companies of various sizes and get that experiential learning that's so valuable. the park also, really the heart of the park is its programming. We work with companies all the way from researchers just getting their research underway all the way through to companies looking to sell. It really is across the board, and we have an amazing amount of talent here to work with you. Again, sorry. Margie, I'm putting you on the spot. Margie has an amazing programming team over there by the door, making sure that none of you leave. She's been with us for years, and really you can't duplicate the relationships and the knowledge that she has. But I'm also going to put the rest of her team on the spot. My entrepreneurs and residents and programming staff here in the room. All right, they're at the outside in the recovering. These guys, again, they work one-on-one with you through various stages of your development. You're looking at challenges that as you grow, they're just outstanding. And this is a team that have been through it before, that really offer you a lot of different experiences to help you avoid some of the challenges and some of the roadblocks that really come along as you develop. But with that, I don't want to say much more. There are a lot more interesting people that you're going to hear from rather than me. So again, thank you, Tien, for coming to us today, and thank you for joining us. And I look forward to meeting with you as we go along. Take care.
Thanks so much, Aaron, and congratulations on everything you guys have built here. It's really quite an impressive situation we have. Next up, I'd like to introduce John Gilstrap, who is the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for the Maryland Department of Commerce. Through his work with Deputy Secretary Ricardo Ben, who is in the House also. Ricardo, please raise your hand. Thank you for all the work you guys are doing. They oversee a lot of different portfolios, including the Office of International Investment and Trade, the Office of Military and Federal Affairs, Office of Strategic Initiatives, as well as doing quite a great job with the biotechnology and life sciences industry. So we thank you very much for that. Would love to hear about some of the initiatives you guys are doing, and thank you guys for joining, and thank you so much for your support as well.
Thanks, Tien. Good morning, everybody. I just want to give a quick shout out. I didn't know it was 15 years of CONNECTpreneur, but that's an amazing, amazing feat. And yeah, we'll give it up for that.
And I've known John for 45 years.
Since we were in nursery school, right? I was going to leave that part out. But anyway, thanks for all you do, because you've been an indispensable piece of this ecosystem here in Maryland. So I'm Assistant Secretary of the Department of Commerce here in the state of Maryland, and I work in a division newly named Industry, Innovation, and International, 3 I's. And we oversee the state's programs and assets in what we call the domain sectors of the state. So that would be computational science and biology, aerospace technology, position, navigation, and timing. I know there's some quantum companies here, as well as emerging technology, AI, cyber, and quantum computing. Some of the projects that you might have heard about that we worked on recently includes AstraZeneca committing to expand in Gaithersburg, Maryland, a $2 billion facility there, advanced manufacturing, and that probably leads to about 2,600 jobs that's projected there, so that's a good win for us. And also, we just announced that the Sphere technology entertainment facility, there's one, the big one in Vegas, and we're bringing one here to Maryland as well, to be sited in National Harbor. So that's a very exciting opportunity too, and it's going to be a big jolt, a positive jolt to the economy, probably lead to another 1,500 jobs. And as you can see, jobs is very important to the Department of Commerce. But those are some of the bigger projects, but I think more applicable to here today, we are very much intent on establishing Maryland as the startup capital of the East Coast as well. So we are involved in a number of initiatives this year to facilitate that. You're going to find out about a number of new investment tax credits that are coming out, a lot of exciting new grant programs tailored to the biotech sector, the cyber sector, and the AI community, as well as workforce development training, because you're going to need workers to drive your businesses going forward. So those are some of the exciting things that we're doing on the sort of regulatory side, also reducing regulations and permitting time. But also, once you're in Maryland, we work with companies like yours to grow your business. So we lead trade missions overseas. I was just in Japan Health last year with a delegation of 12 biotech companies here from Maryland, helping them build new relationships and establish supply chain. We're just in Canada recently. Also, I was talking to a company here earlier, renewing our MOU there and with the life science community and the defense community in Maryland, too, and Canada as well, trying to bridge those ties. And then also, we also were in Australia last year too, at the Aerospace Tech Conference, and we led a bunch of companies there too. So we really help you, once you get established here, to grow your business. I think another thing we can be very helpful on are strategic partnerships. We work with a lot of the big global companies, you know, the IBMs and NVIDIAs and so forth, and they're looking to meet companies like yours because you have the ideas and the new energy that they need to bring. So we can build those connections as well. And then also introduce you to other agencies at the state. I'm working now with a startup company in the AI space, and they've just started a pilot with the Department of General Services to do some work there. So that's the kind of stuff we do and can facilitate. Lastly, I think I would say, I was talking to Deborah, who you hear from earlier, that we're also very much focused on bringing investment capital, outside capital into Maryland too, because that's, you know, everybody needs some money. So we've led a couple of workshops with some big investment firms outside of Maryland to come into Maryland. And also I have to say, my colleague, Deputy Secretary Ricardo Bennis in the office, he's leading an FDI effort, a pretty big major effort to bring in foreign capital into the state as well. So that includes the Gulf states, and that includes some firms in Southeast Asia, you know, where their big pools of capital are. So those are some of the things we're doing in the Department of Commerce, and maybe I'll give you some idea on how we can be helpful. Please reach out to us. Deputy Secretary Ben's a great resource. I can be helpful to you as well. I know some of you have a lot of other touch points into the Department of Commerce. BW Tech is a good partner as well, and we just established a new MOU here while we were talking earlier this morning. So I'll get out of your way, but I'm looking forward to hearing some of your presentations, and please feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, John. Thank you for everything Commerce is doing. Next up, John mentioned capital, so we have a couple of pretty active investors on the docket. Next, I'd like to bring up Jean-Luc Park, who is the Deputy Chief Investment Officer, as well as the head of the TEDCO Social Innovation Funds. Jean-Luc has had the pleasure of funding quite a few people in the Maryland area, including some people in the room here. TEDCO's been super active, luckily, through this winter. So thank you guys for keeping companies not only afloat, but giving them some growth capital. But can you come up and say a few words about what you guys are up to this year?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chen. My name is Jean-Luc Park. I'm the Senior Director of the Social Impact Funds at TEDCO. And TEDCO is an instrumentality of the state of Maryland. We act as the local venture capital firm, willing to be first in many deals, but we really don't want to be alone. So we do ask all of our portfolio companies to find some co-investors as we go forward. But we do more than investing capital into companies. We do try and support the ecosystem, supporting events like this, incubators around the state, entrepreneurship centers around the state as well. So we are focused on technology entrepreneurship though. So the core thing, the T does stand for technology. There are many good entrepreneurs, there are many good startups out there that are not technology based, and so we are not able to really focus on them because Annapolis has provided us this capital to really focus on a very specific type of entrepreneur with a very specific type of investment profile. I focus the idea of investment because the investment dollars from TEDCO are investments. They're not concessionary capital. They're not sacrificial capital. I have to be making the same type of returns as all of my colleagues here in the room because we are a steward of the state money. There are other programs within TEDCO that are grants, that are company formation support, that are available for folks who are spinning out of the universities or trying to establish themselves as a business in the ecosystem. And our programs at venture development are designed specifically for that, to help entrepreneurs become venture investment ready and engaging with you and supporting you as you're developing your model and your idea to the next stage. We also have our DevTech program, which is a program that is established to help companies apply for and be more successful with the SBIR, STTR approaches, because many applicants may not realize that the hit rate for those type of grants is below 10%. And while TEDCO can double that, we're only talking about around 15 to 18%, but it's still a significant improvement compared to the average. We are trying to be very consistent and supportive in our approach, which means that we do operate at the speed of government, unlike some of my other colleagues. But we make sure that no applicant is in fear, favor, nor foul, as OEG loves to tell me. So as awkward as it may be for you to have to go through our application process, and for that I apologize, but this makes sure that we are consistent and fair, and that nobody feels as if they are getting any favoritism. We are one of the more active and engaged investors around. We do have support programs for our portfolio companies and are here to really establish the ecosystem and the support of the economic development of Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you, John Luke. Okay, next up, I'd like to invite Deb Hemingway, who's managing partner of Extravaganza Capital. Deb is one of the most prolific investors, definitely in the last year or two. You have, what, 20 million or so deployed?
25.
25 million deployed in the last couple of years, and she's raising a fund. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. All right, that's right, 25 million in 3 years. It's been a wonderful whirlwind. And we're really proud to have supported 14 amazing companies right here in Maryland. And not only are we proud of the companies that we have supported, but we're proud of all the companies that are just getting started and that are well on their way. You know, the state of investing in capital has been very hard, very difficult over the last couple of years. It's no surprise here. But as we look into 2026 and beyond, it's cautious optimism. You know, we are excited and we are optimistic, and we are seeing things start to warm, thankfully. Hopefully they will do the same here in Maryland. And we're seeing very hot sectors in particular. We are seeing obviously a lot of capital in AI. Remains, you know, rumors are it's a bubble. What is it? But we are seeing AI be very influential in other areas, such as the medical space. And our companies are being touched and changed very, very deeply by leveraging AI, not only in the products that they have from the inside, but also in the development, the research and development that goes into developing new products, also to operational efficiencies. So we are seeing the landscape change in the industry. And we're also really excited to see different regions emerge. And not just any region, we're excited to see this region emerge. Because this region, Maryland, DC, and Virginia, this region is perfectly poised for growth, especially Baltimore. You know, when we look at this city is perfectly situated for logistics, right? I mean, look, we're right here on these major interstates. How quickly was it for all of you to get in easily this morning? You know, we took the interstates in. If you want to fly in, the airport is 10 minutes from here. You know, there's rail, there's the port. We're perfectly situated in terms of being able to manufacture here and then to distribute that to the world. We also have a surprisingly low cost of living for being a strong major metropolitan area. So it's a affordable space. And then the heart of it is that we also have incredible talent. We have companies, we have the people here. I look around in this room and it's just brimming with talent and innovation. I'm like, really, where else in the world is there this amount of innovation, especially medical innovation, coming out of this university, the other universities, the government labs? I just could go on. But I'm telling you guys, all of those things you already know, to say that we're perfectly poised. And the last missing piece that we need to spark this revolution and establish this region as the global hotbed of medical commercialization and make it ready for all startups is that capital. It's the investment dollars. Because it takes money to get these things off the ground and to put them to work. And so that's what my firm has been doing. We've been attracting those investment dollars to come in here to the state of Maryland. We have over 120 different investors in our portfolio, and there's a number of you in this room. And a lot of them also consume outside of the state because eyes are starting to look here, and we're starting to look at this region and at Baltimore, and that's the most exciting part. We're also bringing a fund. We have a fund that will unite the entire region together, Maryland, DC, and Virginia, and uplift it for a space for especially those institutional investors who are overseas to put capital here and to deploy capital here in this region. So that is a little bit about what we are up to. I also love talking to CEOs and entrepreneurs. Even if we can't invest, I'd still love to meet you, hopefully give you some encouragement. And feedback, some tough love on occasion, but really happy to help out all of you guys. And really looking forward to the pitches today. I was reading up on some of the companies, so very excited to hear more about what they have to say. So thank you all.
Thanks, Deb. And our final speaker before we get into the presenters is Marco Avila, who's the CEO of the Maryland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He has probably the fastest growing Chamber of Commerce in the United States. Want to hear a little bit about that. He's also a senior engineer at WSP, working on bridge. How's the bridge coming? Because it's and he also has a consulting business that's doing international business. And I think a lot of you in the room will be interested in it. Marco, come on up and tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Thank you, Ben, for having me here. And Dave, I love what you just said about infrastructure. You know, I'm a civil engineer, work for WSP, a global engineering company. Probably the biggest and the oldest, 85,000 employees, and we've done work for over 145 years. We are working on the Key Bridge and all the major mega projects in the area. So we're working really hard, you know, to make it happen. But I'm also here to represent the Maryland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We'll be working really hard to use that platform not only to help the Hispanic businesses, but to help everybody, because we all live here, we all together, so we'll be working together to make sure that we create opportunities for everybody. I mean, I like to think big, so we are looking into bringing the entire Latin America and Spanish market into our DMV area. You know, we signing MOUs with organizations that can interact, you know, in trades and technology, you know, professional services, things like that, bringing investors from Spain to the DMV. They're really interested in you know, bringing the investment money into the U.S. and Latin America. So that's the kind of thing we're doing. We big in you know, mentoring, education, connecting, and advocacy. It's just amazing to see that in 3.5 years, I think we grew from 89 members organically to 425, and then we see that there's a Salvadorian chamber in Maryland, Guatemalan chamber in Maryland, signed MOUs, created an associate memberships that are paid dues. We double in size, and as of today, I think we have somewhere around 1,100 members. So by 2028, 2029, we want to reach 5,000 members. So there's over 100,000 Hispanic businesses. So the market that has not been tapped yet. So look up, non-Hispanic companies are joining to get into the Hispanic businesses. If you think about this, the Hispanic businesses in the U.S. GDP is $4.1 trillion, which is amazing. If that was a country, it would be the 5th largest economy in the world and growing. You know, probably by 2050, because Hispanic families are having 4 or 5 kids. You know, by 2050, a third of the population will come from Hispanic heritage. So just, you know, talk to us. We would love to connect you. And like Ian said, I have also a boutique consultancy firm that is a global consultancy firm that we're doing big stuff. And I kind of like to say that I am a connector, and I like to connect preneurs. So thank you so much for having me. So let me know if I can help in any way. Thank you.
Marco has my vote for the best dressed in the room. Like your shark. All right. So now the moment you guys have all been waiting for, come on up. Yep, no worries. Absolutely. We have 6 presenting companies, all amazing. 2 are from DM, but 3 from here. So get to see some of your homegrown talent. They are 4.5-minute presentations. Bay here in the front is going to be timing you. And everybody, all the presenters have a table outside. So if you're interested in talking to them afterwards, hopefully you'll have that opportunity. We have the room at Phil Dewey, so this should go fairly quickly. To introduce our presenters, I'd like to bring up Anthony Millen, who is the founder and chair of Next, powered by Shulman Rogers. Next is an amazing law firm. They provide fixed price packages for early stage companies and startups. So you kind of have a handle on what your costs are going to be, as opposed to, kind of billing on the clock, so to speak. And they've been recognized the last 3 years by Legal Week as a finalist for some of their innovation awards. And last year, or 2024, they won an award for Best Law Firm for Enabling Startup Success. And this year, Anthony is nominated as one of the most innovative attorneys in the country by Legal Week. The final next month, I guess, right? So I think it's super well deserved because some of the things you're doing are just amazing. I know you're working with a lot of people in the room. You also work with several CONNECTpreneur companies and alumni companies, so thank you for that. Anthony is also a venture capitalist and an entrepreneur, so he has a very unique perspective in what he's giving out advice. So without further ado, Anthony, come on up, and thank you for your sponsorship and for supporting us.
Going to thank you, Tien, and the entire CONNECTpreneur team for all that you do for our ecosystem. This is an ecosystem that is really made up of an incredible group of people, and it's really what makes it so unique and stand out in the country is the people who make it up and how we all work together and support each other and drive it forward. And Tien is one of those key members and glue that continues to bind us all together and move us forward. So a big thank you to Tien and the CONNECTpreneur team. But just very quickly, as Tien mentioned, Next was launched in 2018 as part of Shulman Rogers to really change and innovate the way legal services are delivered to early stage startup companies. We look to bring affordability and predictability through a broad range of fixed price packages that productizing a broad range of early stage legal services. We very technology forward and are continually using technology to make the way legal services are delivered, packaged by service supported, more efficient, more collaborative, and for founders. And we also do a lot generally to fulfill our mission, which is to empower startup success and in driving and working and partnering with founders over the long term. One of our more recent initiatives is MyNextRaise at mynextraise.com, which is really built out of working with hundreds of startup companies, mostly who are raising financing. And it's an investor readiness-oriented platform, particularly legal investor readiness to support founders. And last year, through our MyNextRaise Founder Program, we arranged over 400 one-on-one meetings between investors and founders. And we have our next event coming up in May. If you go to next.law, you'll be able to look out for participating in that event. The first company I have the privilege to introduce is Inventwood, which is commercialized superwood, a category-defining biomaterial that is stronger and lighter than steel, fire and water resistant, and carbon sequestering. Please welcome Jonathan Strimling of Inventwood.
I'm John Strimling, and I'm the president of Inventwood. We're going to walk you through how superwood will change how the world builds. Across the globe, humanity is building at a faster rate than ever before in history, and yet we're building concrete jungles, which aren't good for people or for the planet. To the company that can solve this challenge of making building safer for people and the planet, there's a $1 trillion prize. Superwood, invented here in the state of Maryland, at the University of Maryland, is a solution. We take ordinary wood, and with an invention pioneered by Professor Liangbing Hu, we are transforming it into a material that's literally stronger than steel. At a molecular level, we are densifying it and enhancing the bonding within the wood to create a product that is stronger than steel. Not only is it stronger than steel, but it's much more durable than traditional wood. It's resistant to weather, it's resistant to termites, it literally can stop bullets and brings a variety of other benefits. We've got a world-class team launching this technology, including a CEO, Alex Lau, who's got 25 years in innovation, has built billion-dollar portfolios of IP at other firms. We've got two of the former top executives at Weyerhaeuser, including Alan Bradshaw, who commissioned $1.5 billion worth of equipment at Weyerhaeuser, and Jack Winterode, who has hundreds of patents and ran their chemistry platform. Previously, I launched what became America's fastest growing manufacturing company, and I came to this opportunity because it was literally 1,000 times bigger. We're entering vast markets. The market for steel is $1.5 trillion. The market for concrete is $1 trillion. The market for aluminum is $200 billion. The market for wood today is $1 trillion, and we can increase the strength by 10x and dramatically enhance the durability. We're going to shift the balance of materials globally with this technology, and our goal is to displace half of the steel produced globally. Inherently, producing steel is expensive. You dig up ore all over the world, you are refining at extremely high temperatures and pressures, and then shipping heavy materials all over the world before it gets to a construction site. We can harvest wood locally, process it locally at low temperatures and pressures, and deliver a product which performs better at a lower cost with better environmental and social footprints. With three simple forms of the material, a plank or a board, a veneer, and OSB, we can hit myriad markets across the building products industry, which you see on the right side of the page. The key thing I'm going to highlight for you is every dark green rectangle on the right is a $100 billion market. And then there are markets in transportation and other areas. We can't do all of that at once, so we're entering the market with what we call the skin of buildings, and then we're going to move on to the bone. So we're entering with decking, cladding, railings, and then we'll move on to beams and columns and structural elements. As we enter the market, the fact that the product is extraordinarily fire resistant is a key differentiator and allows us to do things like put decking into LA, where normally wood decking or wood fencing would not be allowed. And that alone is a $50 billion market opportunity. As we go towards structural applications, the use of wood in structural applications is already enabled by mass timber code, which is allowed for the building of buildings up to 40 stories in timber. We will just allow that to go higher with stronger materials. We are in production and we are shipping commercially today from our facility just an hour from here. We have over 140 patents. We're rolling this out globally, and we've made substantial commercial progress. So we've got a top-notch team, including top-notch sales professionals. We've got over 15,000 inbound inquiries. We've had over 600 different groups send us, individuals or groups send us checks, which amounts to about a $100 million pipeline of interest, where we've already got paid reservations. That's more than we can produce out of the first plant. We are offering an investment round now. It's a $10 million round against a $110 million pre-money valuation. And for those of you that are interested in learning more, what I would say is the timing's pretty interesting. We've just started shipments. The company's clearly at an inflection point, and there's a bunch of macro factors supporting domestic manufacturing. We are holding a couple of events in combination with CONNECTpreneur. So if you're interested, see Tien, see my colleagues, Kurt and Dan, who will be here after this event. Their hands are up in the back, or come to one of our events and let us know or send me an email. But certainly we appreciate the opportunity that you presented, Tien, and thank you very much.
Okay, I would now like to introduce Alchemina. Alchemina is a clinical stage biotechnology company redefining what is druggable. Their proprietary platform creates a new therapeutic class that merges the specificity of antibodies with the intracellular and CNS penetration of small molecules. Please welcome Edmund Nesty, CEO of Alchemina.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm CEO of Alchemina, and we're a protein engineering company, a well-financed protein engineering company, developing a new drug modality. The current drug modalities, and the problem we're solving is 80 to 90% of drug targets, many of the most well-validated, are undruggable. For example, transcription factors. Many of these targets have decades of validation, yet pharmaceutical companies ignore them because they don't have a modality that can target them. The current modality, small molecules, are orally bioavailable, and they have good penetration, but they have low selectivity, they have off-target effects, and can't hit complex protein-protein interaction targets. Antibodies, they have high specificity, excellent safety, but they're too large for cells. They can't penetrate the CNS and the extracellular only. So we've developed a new drug modality that has high specificity, cell and ENS penetration, can tackle intracellular targets, and multiple can be delivered by multiple routes of administration. And we've demonstrated we can get these molecules from concept to market in actually less than 10 months with OV. So we have 3 partnership models. One is platform access. The one I'm going to talk about today is co-development of specific assets, but we also have excipients that we can license to other companies. Our platform is a synthetic biology platform that generates data that we use to train our generative AI algorithm. So it's sort of like a telescope where you get a good picture with the manual telescope, but then you can use artificial intelligence to enhance the picture. We do the same thing with molecules. So how are we different from other companies? First of all, we offer CNS access. We have a much more advanced directed evolution platform. Our time to IND is far shorter. It's usually 2 to 4 years. We're 10 to 18 months, and we're in the clinic right now. So our first molecule, today we're looking to partner with 2 molecules, and they both have validated targets. The first molecule is for scarring and for like atopic dermatitis. It's an anti-inflammatory molecule. Currently, the target is IL-6. Now, everybody knows there are IL-6 inhibitors. The problem is that it'll block black box warning, so there are a lot of indications you can't use them. So we've developed a topical version of topical IL-6 inhibitor, and it has a great potential for scar pathology and other inflammatory dermatologic indications. The second molecule is a molecule for a refractory monoarthritis. It's a TNF-alpha agonist. Now, there are other systemic TNF alpha agonists. However, they're systemic, so they have off-target effects. TNF-alpha agonists also have a black box warning. Next, so the 3 phases of the partnership model is that we're looking for $7 million up front. We will also put in $7 million to develop both of these molecules, and when these reach IND, then there'll be other financial milestones along the way. And our goal is in roughly 2 years, 2.5 years to get these partnered into large pharma. So the return on investment we expect to be very high. These drugs have multi-billion-dollar markets. And so why should you trust us? First of all, our team has extensive protein engineering background, but also our team has experience with over 1,000 INDs. So we're highly experienced. And so why are we asking for money? Because we can develop drugs faster than we can get into market. We are developing other molecules as well on our own, but we're trying to expand our pipeline very quickly. So we're looking for outside investors. Not only is our protein engineering company very well financed, but for example, this past year, I think we had over $10 million in non-dilutive funding as well. So please give me your questions if you have any. Okay.
Great, thank you, Edmund. The next company I have the honor of introducing is Animate Biosciences. Animate Biosciences is pioneering a new class of peptide-based therapeutics for inflammatory and fibrotic diseases. Please welcome Peter Licari, CEO of Animate Biosciences.
Thank you and good morning. At Animate Biosciences, we're developing drugs to treat inflammatory and fibrotic disease. I want to call out my two other co-founders. Jessica Whitehead is a professor at Harvard in regenerative biology. Jonathan Wolfson is a serial entrepreneur. Jonathan and I have worked together for well over a decade. Combined, there's 10 commercial products out today that we've worked on together and separately. We have a great team. Glad to go into details, but many of them I have worked with in the past. So what is inflammatory and fibrotic disease? Simply put, it's your scarring process gone overboard. So imagine you cut your hand. It heals, you develop a scar, but that scar continues to grow over time to the point where your hand is a mitten and it's not functional. That process happens. Not only does it happen with skin, that process happens to our internal organs. If you look at the pictures of lungs, on the left is a healthy set of lungs. On the right, scarred lungs. So this scarring process has accumulated to the point where the lungs no longer function and the patient succumbs to this disease. Fibrosis is responsible for up to 45% of deaths globally. So at Animate, our inspiration is regenerative animals. These animals are able to repair limbs and organs without undergoing fibrosis. And they do it with very limited inflammation. So we use them as a roadmap. We monitor the healing process when we sever a leg and it grows back. And we can apply that to the human genome. From this data, we design peptides to solve the problem of fibrosis. This works really well. We have a small library of compounds that have proven effective. They diminish inflammation dramatically, and they stop fibrosis. It's effective across all organ types, and we validated it in multiple animal models. 3 animal models to date. We got new data back, cardiac, lung, and skin. We're seeing excellent efficacy, and we're well protected from an IP perspective. We're very different than the competitors. We're looking at this from a systems-wide perspective, again, gleaned from that regenerative species data. We're interested in a lot, but our primary focus is lung disease. Great data in lung and a very clear regulatory path. But when you pile in other organs, the market opportunity is tremendous. This is a busy slide. The key points are we have clear milestones ahead. Sorry, I get the signs. The key points are we have a strategic acquisition window in 2 to 3 years, so we're not talking a very long time. We're asking you to get involved where the red circles are. So we expect big inflections over the next 2 years as we get into phase 1 and complete it. We've raised $5 million in safes to date. We're now raising to a convertible note. I think the key points here are we have a lead, and we've raised $1 million of the $3 million in the note. I'm going to wrap up and just say this is a huge problem. It goes underreported to a lot of people, but it is a major medical issue with no good solutions today. And we feel this platform and these peptides we've developed can deliver excellent solutions. Thank you, and I'd love to talk to you at our table.
I would now like to introduce Glycomantra. Glycomantra is a Maryland-based life sciences company developing novel therapeutics for unmet medical needs in metastatic prostate cancer. Please welcome Hafiz Ahmed, CEO of Glycomantra.
Thank you. Good morning. So we're developing a biologic for treating drug-resistant metastatic prostate cancer, called mCRPC. Sorry about that. What is my slide? What is my slide? And somebody help slide. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so approximately 400,000 patients die of prostate cancer every year. Typically, prostate cancer patients go through the several cycles of treatment as the cancer progresses to metastasis. Zytiga and Xtandi, these are the two blockbuster drugs under second line of hormone therapy. They work well, but unfortunately only for a while. Soon the patients become resistant to these drugs and they die in 3 to 4 months. Tragically, there are no other treatments that can extend their life beyond 3 to 4 months. Here's a culprit. Galectin-3, it is a pro-inflammatory molecule that presents in the metastatic stage, and its expression remains high, and it causes drug resistance. Let's look at the drug market. Only mCRPC market was $12 billion in 2024. It is expected to be double by 2032. So, and galectin-3 targeting drug could easily achieve 3 to 5% market share by 2032. So galectin-3 not only involved in drug resistance, but it also involves in patient's immune cell exhaustions. And in this process, galectin-3 binds very strongly to its counterparts called cell surface receptors. So it is very important to break that bonding in order to have successful therapy. Here's the good news. Glycomonthro has developed a very high affinity galectin-3 antagonist that break that bonding in order to have successful therapy. And it sequesters galectin-3 from the systems, enabling superior therapeutic potential. GM1 already effectively treats drug-resistant mCRPC in relevant mouse model and extends its life. It outperforms current GAL3 antagonist. Also, it outperforms current SOC drug like Xtandi and Zytiga. Additional attributes of GM101, it is non-immunogenic and it has a broad therapeutic index. Let's look at the roadmap of GM101. So far, we raised more than $6 million in non-dilutive funding, mostly from the NIH, in order to de-risk our technology. Particularly, we demonstrated in vivo efficacy and optimized manufacturing of our drug. Currently, we are doing CGLP manufacturing, and we are seeking $2 million in SAFE in order to do IND toxic studies and submission by end of this year. We have active collaborations with MCW, NIH, and JLab. Galectin-3 is a pro-inflammatory molecule I just mentioned. It is central to many diseases associated with chronic inflammation. So as such, we are developing many drugs in order to target many galectin-3 associated disease. And in fact, we already demonstrated efficacy in many indications. So as such, Glycomonthro, it is a truly galectin-3 based platform technology with demonstrated efficacy. We have an experienced leadership team with complementary expertise, and combined experience, only 3 core member team is 75 years. We have a strong and broad IP protections, and combined these 4 patents covers all our GM series drugs. It also covers manufacturing and covers most GAL3 associated disease. Here's our revenue and exit strategy looks like. By the end of clinical trial in 2031, we hope to achieve, anticipate 3 to 5% share of $22 billion market. By the way, it's growing 8 to 10% CAGR rate. However, we intend to license GM101 or become a strategic target of strategic pharma companies that we have been already engaged with a few after a favorable phase 1 clinical trial. We have a strong in vivo data, and we have CMC and optimized manufacturing in place, and we have a strong team and broad IP. We are seeking $2 million. We already have $1 million in soft commitments, and we would like to have you join our team, which is very productive, and to catch this momentum of growth and to take advantage of early stage leverage. Let's work together to save life and to extend life. Who wants to join? Thank you so much for CONNECTpreneur for this platform, and also my coach, Don, and also Fahmida. Thank you. Bye.
The next company I have the honor of introducing is Humanetics. Humanetics is a clinical stage specialty pharma company developing the most advanced drug in the industry to prevent radiation damage. Please welcome Colin Chen, CMO of Humanetics.
Well, good morning. I am Colin Chin. I'm the Chief Medical Officer for Humanetics Corporation. A little bit about myself. I'm a U.S. Navy retiree with 38 years of service, and I retired as a Rear Admiral in 2019 from my last job in the Pentagon as the Joint Staff Surgeon, and that's the Senior Medical Advisor to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So Humanetics is a clinical stage pharmacy company. We're based in Minnesota, and we are developing the most advanced prophylactic radiation medical countermeasure for the Department of Defense. To date, we have raised approximately $145 million in capital. 90 million of that is in non-dilutive federal grants and contracts. We received $5 million last year, and we just got great news yesterday that we're going to receive another $10 million this year. We have the potential for near-term commercial revenues within 18 to 24 months under emergency use authorization. Our intellectual property includes fast-track FDA approval and orphan drug designations, which will provide market exclusivity for several years. The problem we are solving is an increasing level of global toxic radiation with no means to protect military and civilian populations from harm. The first source of damaging radiation is on the battlefield. The second source is a nuclear power facility accident, and there have been 3 in my lifetime: 3 on Mile Island, Chernobyl, and Fukushima. And the third and most predominant source of toxic radiation is cancer radiation therapy. Every year, up to 10 million patients, newly diagnosed patients across the globe, are candidates for cancer radiation therapy. So the solution to widespread toxic radiation is a powerful new radioprotectant drug called BioGraze, or Bio300. It was developed by the U.S. military for their warfighters on the battlefield. In 2014, we obtained an exclusive worldwide license from the Department of Defense and have been funded by DoD ever since. During this time, we also identified other indications that could benefit from the protective power of BioGraze, and that's to include clinical indications in cancer radiation therapies and inflammatory lung disease. So BioGraze is very easy to administer. There is no need for needles, syringes, or administration by medical personnel. It is safe, with no side effects or dose-limiting toxicities, and can be stored at room temperature. So BioGraze protects the whole body from the damaging effects of radiation and prevents the development of acute radiation syndrome. Its protection is especially prominent in the lungs, GI tract, and bone. So how does BioGraze work? Well, very simply, it blocks DNA damage caused by ionized radiation, as well as blocking the release of cytokines, which produce harmful inflammation and scarring of healthy tissues. Target markets for medical countermeasures are immense and widespread across several military forces and widespread across likewise, the potential market for BioGraze as an adjunct for cancer radiation therapy is very large. Currently, we have clinical trials planned for 3 solid tumors: lung, prostate, and head and neck. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. As I said before, many solid tumors are newly diagnosed every year, with 50% of them, or 10 million, are candidates for cancer radiation therapy every year. So in 18 to 24 months, we will apply for emergency use authorization with the FDA, and upon approval, we'll obtain a stockpiling order from DoD, which will initiate initial commercial revenue for BioGraze. And then upon full FDA approval, we'll anticipate a stockpiling order from Health and Human Services for the Strategic National Stockpile. This will then be followed by regulatory approval and supplying the European and Asian markets. And then, upon completion of phase 2B clinical trials in cancer radiation therapy, we will collaborate with Big Pharma to commercialize biodegrades for this commercial indication. So we're here today to raise $10 million in a Series B preferred offering. Here's our contact information. We're out in the front. I look forward to meeting with several of you afterwards. Thank you very much.
The final company of the morning is Natur. Natur provides a cost-competitive, environmentally friendly alternative to the traditional petroleum supply chain for sulfur ingredients, reshaping how essential compounds like taurine are produced. Please welcome Frank Turano, Chief Research Officer of Natur.
I'm Frank Turano, co-founder and chief research officer at Natur. At Natur, we're changing the way sulfur ingredients are made. Did you know if you washed your hair, brushed your teeth, fed your cat, made infant formula, or took a supplement this morning, you used a product that contains a sulfur-containing ingredient that was derived from petrochemicals? Thousands of everyday products have sulfur-containing ingredients that are derived from petrochemicals. The production of these compounds often have hazardous and carcinogenic intermediates, toxic byproducts, and very high CO2 footprints. Our proprietary platform uses microbes, water, sugar, minerals in a fermenter to produce these different molecules. We have a dominant IP position. Our core technology is protected by a moat of 5 patents that have been issued in the United States, and we're expanding that protection with additional applications in the US and in other jurisdictions. Our process uses no hazardous or carcinogenic compounds and has up to an 80% reduction in CO2 production. The current size of the sulfur ingredient market is $80 billion. Our first product to market will be bio-based taurine, which will compete with synthetic taurine. The current size of that market is $2.5 billion with an annual growth rate of over 5%. But more interesting, a very rapidly growing market of $1.5 billion is emerging for alternative proteins. All alternative proteins, whether they're plant-based or single-cell based, do not have taurine. Taurine is an essential nutrient for normal eye and brain development for both animals and humans. We have 3 products in the pipeline. The first is biotaurine, which will be in production by the end of this quarter. The second compound is N-acetylcysteine, or known as NAC. It's an antioxidant, will be on the market the following year, to be followed by the production of a vitamin. 95% of all the taurine in the world right now is made synthetically using petrochemicals in China. The process is not sustainable. That process has very high CO2 emissions, has carcinogenic intermediates, and hazardous compounds. Our process overcomes all those problems. Since we've announced a partnership with a contract manufacturer, we've been able to produce samples. We've been able to get those samples to customers and get very positive feedback. We've worked with those customers to validate price, and we've now secured funds to move into scale-up production and plan to be in full production by the end of this quarter. We anticipate having sales of $3.5 million by the end of this year and to be cash flow positive next year. We have a very talented and experienced team. Daphne has taken several startups to exit. 2 members of our team, Don and Greg, have taken fermented products from the lab to the market, and Becky was instrumental in getting approval of taurine as an additive in energy drinks. We are seeking an investment of $250,000 to close a $1 million pre-seed round. thank you for your time. And we have a booth outside, so please come and see us if you have any questions.
Great, thank you, Frank. Let's give it up for our 6 awesome presenters, please. Spectacular group, really amazing, and please visit with them out, as you guys know what they're doing, looking for money and partnerships. This concludes the formal portion of our event. We have the facility until noon today, so please mingle and connect with old friends and new friends, and thank you so much. We'll see you in DC on April 16th. Again, in the back of the room, we have our table with QR codes for some of our upcoming events, and hopefully we'll see you guys around. Thank you so much.